Greetings and salutations, my fellow gamers, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Blitzbite, and today we're doing some more Fallout filming updates. Now, in our last video, we looked over how Vegas apparently was destroyed, and how everything looked a lot more damaged and a little bit more, well, not exactly how Vegas should look. It looked a little bit more like it did before House took it over. And a lot of people in the comments were saying, like, oh, it's probably going to be something like, oh, Vegas fell, and this is just what happened. But there were also a lot of people who were saying, oh, well, probably, it's going to take place before, House took over the Strip and everything, back when it was still lawless and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's potentially true. However, we did get a few more updates not long after that, and these, as you can see, this is the one that got a lot of people talking, because we got an image of the Lucky 38 door with the awning torn up and scratch marks. 3 clawed scratch marks. So what could do that? Well, what creature in the wasteland has 3 claws? And is very well known for having 3 claws. In fact, they even make a gauntlet out of it. That's right. A deathclaw. There is potential rumor going around that the reason we see all of this happening in Vegas is because there is a deathclaw. But before we go any further with that, let's just look at all the images, make sure we got all the details. But this still is pretty cool to see so much damage to look at. House would be furious if this, well, if he's still around, then he'll be furious with this. But if he isn't, well, he would be furious. But this is just, it is just wow. I didn't expect this much damage. But why is Deathclaw trying so hard to get into there? What's inside the Lucky 38 that wants to get inside so bad? That's a good question. But you can see here more of this damage. So we know that this damage happened to the door sometime around the same time all this occurred. So again, there are a lot of people who are saying this all takes place before House took over the Strip. But if that is the case, then one would wonder, was that repaired afterwards? Or again, does all this mean that it doesn't take place because we didn't see any of this in the actual game? But if we look at some more of the images here, we got a few more shots of everything all destroyed and all that. Nothing really too important when you think about it. Of course, we got Michelangelo's neon sign shot, more of it destroyed, more busted out windows, and we may know a reason why this occurred, and more so why everything looks so beat up and destroyed and all that stuff, why there are cars and all that in the Strip, despite the fact that there shouldn't be. But we got a few more shots of the Gamora, again, beat up, destroyed, parts missing, all that kind of stuff. And more shots of the tops, again, with all the windows broken out, which, it's tough to see for the tops. It's this, I think it's the one I spent the most amount of time in besides the Lucky 38. I actually thought the tops was fun. That and the Gamora was pretty cool, but yeah, just more or less this we saw. I thought there'd be some more information around here about the sign near the Michelangelo sign and the Lucky 38 over here, but upon zooming in, there was really nothing. But yeah, that's okay. We got some more shots of I feel like this is still a New Vegas before House took it over, given the fact there's so much dirt and cars here which weren't there beforehand. It doesn't just look like it was, like blown up or anything. It literally looks like it's just like everything was stopped in its place and then it just left there for so many years. Who knows? But continuing on, we got one more shot of the Gamora, and that's it. But here's where the big kicker comes in, because the person who posted these, Just Bottle Diggin', he also posted this. He was actually nearby the set when they were doing all this filming, and this is what he wrote. I know, skip all that to make sure. So last night I was told by someone that there was a special practical Deathclaw animatronic on Friday night during filming. Probably similar to what they did with the Gulper in Season 1. Now we understand why there was an explosion on the night of Friday the 14th, and why the set looks damaged. Yeah, that's something I didn't really post up, but something that they left a notification for all the neighbors who were in the area, people who lived around there, that there would be filming going on. And some of the things they listed that there would be a dog, so not a dog, but an animal on site with a trainer. There would be people with weapons to make it look like a battle was going on, and there would be an explosion with propane. And there was an explosion. So we do know that something happened on the ship that caused an explosion. And now we know there is a Deathclaw animatronic on the ship, apparently. So they filmed pre-war scenes, post-war scenes, and now some of the DEATHCLAW damaged post-war scenes. This must be a big fight of the season, or at least one of them. There's no way this is the first DEATHCLAW they've encountered. They went through Quarry Junction. I'm not sure where that came in, but okay. This might be the first face-to-face encounter or a legendary encounter with a DEATHCLAW. Also, on the set of Freeside and the gate of the ship, there's DEATHCLAW graffiti. Now, we did see that. We saw there was a lot of DEATHCLAW graffiti on pretty much all sets in the Mojave. There was some at Novak, there was some at Freeside, now here on the strip. So, DEATHCLAWs are a pretty big thing. They mentioned Quarry Junction, so I'm starting to wonder if perhaps during the events of Fallout New Vegas, the courier did not clear out Quarry Junction, and now DEATHCLAWs from Quarry Junction are making their way towards Vegas. And I'm also wondering if potentially that's what the explosion happened. The explosion that they filmed everything, why everything looks so like destroyed and blown up, especially near like Michelangelo's and all that, is because someone saw the explosion at the wall of New Vegas to blow open a hole and let a DEATHCLAW inside. Because here, and that actually may be why we see New Vegas so destroyed and everything here. And what's more, something I kind of just, I thought about when I was looking at all this, if we go to the end credits for the beginning that we saw at the end of Season 1, you can see we are in New Vegas, all that, and now, look, there is a DEATHCLAW skeleton. What's more, we see an NCR vertibird, lots of soldiers NCR gear on them. Looks like an aftermath of a battle, a really large battle, but then as we pull back further and further along the New Vegas Strip, we see all the hotels, the tops, Lucky 38, all that kind of stuff. But then we reach the wall, which has a large opening in it that looks like it was blown open. We see more of those defenses, more destroyed Securitrons, which we did see in a few behind-the-scenes shots, and it's right next to the New Vegas sign, which leads just out into the wasteland, as we saw both here in-game and in the official map. So what I'm thinking is, the final battle we're seeing in Season 2, or at least the battle that involves stuff on the strip, takes place between a DEATHCLAW and the NCR. But wait, what's the NCR doing in New Vegas? Especially with the signs that kind of point to the house ending being the canon ending. Well, this is where I got to thinking. What if the house ending is canon? As in, Mr. House won, and he kicked the NCR military out to New Vegas, allowing just the NCR citizens to come and enjoy the strip. But then not long after that, the NCR's capital, Shady Sands, was blown up. And with that, Mr. House's one, well, not one, but main source of income for the strip was crippled, and they would have to, they scattered or refocused themselves elsewhere. They needed somewhere to go. They didn't have their capital anymore. They needed to be able to, regroup, something like that. And so what if, in order to make sure he still had a revenue stream coming in, Mr. House made a deal with the NCR so that they can use New Vegas as a, temporary, stopping ground to maybe even in a new capital city, temporarily, while they, reestablish themselves. And the NCR, therefore, or at least the most important ones, went all the way to New Vegas, and this is where they're staying, trying to regroup and rebuild the NCR command post, so they can get all the NCR back together under one roof. That would make sense. I mean, Mr. House, he didn't hate the NCR. He even says they're his best customers, and that they're the reason he's able to do all this stuff with the ship, because he's been using their capital from their, both their just normal citizens and their military to come and spend them here at the strip. So without them, without the NCR, he has nothing. So he has a reason to keep them around. So if he sees that, oh my gosh, their capital got new, they're not going to want to spend their money, they're going to be trying to make sure they don't scatter to the winds. I better do something about that. And so he brings the NCR here, or at least, like I said, their main, whoever's in charge of the NCR now, because it's highly likely that Kimball probably isn't around anymore. So maybe General Oliver, maybe he's still around. So maybe General Oliver and anyone else from the NCR government, from the Congress and all that, are here in New Vegas trying to bring everyone back together, using New Vegas as a temporary capital or just Sort of like their version of maybe Raven Rock or the Poseidon Energy oil rig. Just a place where they can go and continue the government while they figure out what to do. And that's why the military is still here, even though, like, you know, they shouldn't be. If the house ending is canon, which is what they're trying to, you know, say, well, what it looks like, then the NCR military shouldn't be there because House kicked them out. So, if the NCR military is still there, if we see DEATHCLAWS, NCR soldiers, and NCR Vertibird, the NCR has to be there. And it can only be there if either A, the NCR ending is canon, which I don't think it is, based on what they've said, or Mr. Housen is keeping the NCR military there after the events of the Fallout TV show where their capital got nuked. So this is going to be really interesting. We do know that, of course, Bethesda said they're not just trying to like blow up and get rid of the NCR. They did say the NCR is still out there. They have plenty of operations outside of California. So I'm still more along the lines of, you know, Todd Howard isn't just going to, you know, keep them in Southern California, you know, keep them in California and say, oh yeah, but like in Oregon or Nevada, all that kind of stuff, they're still around. It's like, no, I think they're out of Los Angeles. The LA Boneyard, all that kind of stuff, that's out of the Brotherhood territory now. But I think outside of that, like in other parts of California, particularly to the north and east, the NCR is still around. And they're just trying to, like I said, they're trying to regroup, they're trying to, you know, build back what they had, but they're weakened, and because of that, the most of them are going to be here in New Vegas trying to get things away. Because also it's far away from the Brotherhood or whoever nuked them. I think they probably know. I mean, if Moldaver knew who nuked them, then I'm pretty sure the NCR knows itself who nuked them. So yeah, that's going to throw a whole wrench into it if the NCR actually is here in New Vegas, and we're going to see the NCR military battling a DEATHCLAW. But also, I just realized, can you imagine, like, Hank walked up to New Vegas and was like, hey guys, how's it go? That's a two-headed bear on a flag. Hey, you're not still sore about your capital city, are ya? Like, I cannot imagine what they would do to Hank if they found him. I mean, if they are aware that he was the one who nuked them. That would be crazy. Or like I said, you know, if Mr. House finds out that he nuked his best customers, Hank's digging his own grave. And anyone besides, you know, the Legion or Yes Men ending is the canon one, which it probably isn't. And even with the Yes Men ending, you're still gonna get Yes Men saying like, hey, yeah, they were my best customers too, so I'm gonna go ahead and kill you. Is that okay? I don't know, but if I'm just, like I said, I'm super excited to see whether or not the NCR is actually in New Vegas. Either just like this is some remnants, maybe it's some just like a few people left over after, you know, the military and the government kind of collapsed, or this is basically the best of the NCR here trying to rebuild. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it definitely looks like that the reason the ship is so distressed is not because, you know, like, oh, New Vegas is an anarchy or anything. It's just going to be that there was an explosion that happened, caused a bunch of destruction to fly out, and a DEATHCLAW gets into the ship, which probably could cause even more damage, as we saw, like the ripped awning, the doors, shattered glass, all that kind of stuff. But man, that's going to be super cool to see a DEATHCLAW. We saw a skull, and we saw this in Season 1, but to see a live-action DEATHCLAW. If the live-action Yaoguai was a big deal, the live-action DEATHCLAW is going to be amazing, especially if it's a legendary one, as they were saying it could potentially be. Can you imagine a glowing DEATHCLAW on the New Vegas Strip fighting NCR soldiers? That's something I want to see now, but I probably won't be able to get to see it for at least a year. You know, till next year, probably maybe even 2 years at this rate. But yeah, this is going to be so cool, and I cannot wait for more updates to come out so I can talk about them, because I don't think we're ever getting anything more from Vegas. I think they pretty much filmed all the Vegas scenes, all the pre-war, post-war, and now post-New Vegas scenes have been filmed. So who knows what we're going to get next? Maybe we'll get some more stuff in California. Who knows? But I will be able to check it out when we get more information. I hope you guys will be here to check it out too with me as I discuss it, even if I'm just rambling at this point. Who knows? And so until next time, people, ta-ta, and goodbye for now.